Price action of XRP is something which we are all looking at. But what's even more interesting is to look and understand how the payments assets are performing. Say this is XLM, that's below the moving average. A 3-day chart, 21 MA. XRP, the same story. H bar, a little bit better. It's coming back up to test that moving average. But then you actually see that in the market, you have different segments of assets which are going above the moving average on a same 3-day chart with 21 MA, coming back down to retest that range, which happens to be a long-term support now, and then bouncing off, right? So if you were already in that, you knew there was an opportunity when the price was dropping. We jumped in, we took the trade, we took the profits. So the thought process was clear. The market was showing you there is an opportunity and you were going back up to do something. Now, understand you will always get divergence, and that gives you the ability to move out or into the market. Say this is another asset in the market. It touched about $6. At one point it was close to like $6.2. Right now it's at $4. Remember, we shared the thought process of this being an opportunity at 1.9. So you need some patience for sure. But once you understand that, as an XRP holder, while you wait for your XRP or your payments bag to do something, or money flow to rotate and enter into that payments group, you do have opportunities in the market. So I would argue the fact that when you watch the market move like this, don't doubt it. If the market is showing you the possibility that Bitcoin dominance is testing somewhat like this, and it's giving you a pattern like this, what the hell does that really mean? Are you going to see altcoins perform, or are you going to see Bitcoin dragging that capital? Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. We went through all these opportunities, showing you the breakouts, the targets, and everything in a lot of different assets. And 985 plus members are taking benefit of that here. Now, when you are in the market, you also have to understand, okay, Bitcoin dominance is showing you a possible double top on a micro chart. It's a 4-hour chart, not a macro, but still, that's now starting to look a little bit favorable for the altcoins. Then you move on to Bitcoin. That's even important. You're looking at the daily chart and you're like, okay, we managed to break through level 1 resistance, level 2 resistance, level 3 resistance. We argued about this yesterday. Right now, the price is above, but you don't have much momentum there, right? That's not a higher momentum candle. Fine. So getting a retest would be the best choice, which we want to see, but we don't know what the market is going to do. So we zoom in. And a 4-hour chart in Bitcoin shows you there can be a possible move, a retest, and a bounce. But remember, when you're on a 4-hour and you're watching this, you need to understand the fact that that's a 4-hour chart and a micro scenario. The moment you step back, look at the price action from a longer horizon, looking at last 2-3 years, say a weekly chart. Now you're watching the pattern, the trend, and it kind of shows you, okay, keep this in mind. We're not crossing to the downside. We're going up. Keep the RSI on a weekly in mind. We're going back into the overbought territory. We're now at 75. That's a huge thing to watch, because when you enter back on the monthly, you're not yet there on the overbought territory. So you have some room. That's what the monthly is saying us. So now, when you look at this and argue that point of, okay, there is still a possibility like this coming in when the RSI is going to show you this. Fine. So what's that going to be? 60,000, 70,000? We don't know. But while that happens, if Bitcoin dominance is dropping, that means money is now more moving in towards the altcoin segment. Is that our favorite asset? Because right now you get a lot of different thought process about Bitcoin dominating the market. That's true. And you're watching this. So different thought process exists in the market. One of them for XRP or as an XRP holder, one of those thought process which you would or should discuss is this. Ripple sold 180 million XRP. Then from the escrow, they sold 500 million. I mean, that's not an interesting, positive, bullish stat there, right? That's not numbers which we would like to see. So they're selling at an average of 50 cents. The price is still close to 50 cents. So you do have a lot of manipulation happening in this asset. For sure, the market makers, everyone is playing out. And you're watching like, whales moving in. Now, I personally saw 58 million something, but still 26 million units is a big thing. And why is that happening? Because in the overall market, you're seeing a huge demand for payments. But then when you go on the payments as an industry, look at all of these assets, you're not watching them performing like we want. Whereas gaming is starting to move up. Money is rotating into gaming, smart contracts, infrastructure, different areas, and you're watching that, right? So when you're in the market and you're watching BlackRock's doing advertisement for Bitcoin. Now they're doing that on Reddit too. They started on Google already, so they are spending money to get people on board to Bitcoin. That's something to think about. So if they really want to sell their holdings to some retail, they think the top is coming soon. So they're now inviting all these retail in to slaughter them. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe. But that's kind of something to think about. When you're inviting all of these guys to buy something, someone needs to sell. Now, you don't really have the mining ability to give 3,000, 4,000 Bitcoin a day. So that's not possible to come up with new supply. So it's someone selling in the market. The retail, vast majority of them are thinking the price is going to go much higher. They had a different thought process saying we're going down towards this point. But right now, you saw the price is going up. When you zoom in, one thing is clear, and you should take this and move on to the altcoins. What is that? When you understand the fact that each resistance has been tested and broken. So if you are precise, you land on the candle closes and you will see something like this. We broke that one. We broke this one. Right now, you got another candle close and you're above that resistance, which technically speaking is the next support. So that means 47K can be the next support. And if you do bounce off from there, it's balle. Remember, when we were at the bottom here at 38, we talked about this. Going back up, going through this, and we are right now at that area. But what interests all of us is altcoins. So you go one by one into those range. We just saw like, okay, this was the previous support, which should be acting as a resistance. But now Ether managed to break that to the upside. That's another positive move here. But if you do focus on the last candle here, you'll actually see we didn't do much. And look at the volume. We didn't have huge volume compared to the previous day. So that's actually okay. So till that point, you're not getting a huge deflection from the market activity. We can understand that it's not that complex. It's okay. But when you slowly step back to see what's the macro picture like, this is not bad. This is really, really positive. The first day or the first week, you had a little bit of buying volume. They tried to push the price higher, but again, sellers dominated them. They pushed back down and they closed here. Still, the bulls won. The next week, which is right now, this is a Saturday here, which means in the next 24 hours, you're going to get the weekly close. And the buying volume is not super heavy. It's almost same, but the price went much higher. So sellers are backing out, or you can feel that here, right? And then you start to zoom out and ask that question like, okay, why are they stepping out? What do they see to step out at this range? More likely is the fact that this pattern is now being recognized by some whales on the selling side, and they saying, no, we are not going back in to do the fake out. That doesn't look good for the guys who are shorting the market. So if they think that it is a breakout, a retest, and a bounce, they are out. Most of them who would be the naysayers at the end would be here. As soon as you break that level, they are also out or getting liquidated. So these are kind of things which you'll have to stick on to understand the market and its direction. Now, you go back into the market, you can actually look at a lot of different assets, whichever interests you. But when you're looking at that, look at the daily market cap movements. 2-3 days back, we were like 1.6 trillion, then 1.7, now 1.8. So you are getting more and more money into the market. So it's not just money rotating in the market, it's also the new money entering the market. And that gives you the ability to say, okay, new money is entering the market. Which direction is that going? Which asset is trying to break higher? Which group of assets, maybe smart contracts, maybe gaming, is now getting more volume. So you'll have to spend your time, look through the volume. Is that daily volume increasing? Yesterday was 80 million, today it's 100 million, tomorrow it's 150 million. If that's the case, you understand what's going on. And that's one of the reasons why I sit through, try to understand that, and then deliver that here in the SI family. So you guys get to see, okay, these assets are now hot. They're getting more volume. You can make the best informed decision with all the information available there. Now, when you actually see these kind of moves, you're like, okay, fine, 2.7, it's not a bad move. Right now, when you enter into the market and you're looking at, say, IMX or UMA or any assets, you're like, okay, 2.75. You're already there. So if you are a trader, you're starting at 1.2, you're riding, or even at 1.3, and you're riding till 2.7, that's 100% ROI. So if you started in between, you still have 50%. So it depends on what type of an investor or trader you are, but the market always gives you these kind of opportunities. Now, jumping back into Bitcoin, because that's important. This kind of decides where the market goes, or when you and me will get our coins bursting. That's the concern here, right? Will XRP do something? And if it will, when will that do? When will that price action come? Because right now, the way we are watching the market, we got something like this back then, we moved up. Right now, in next 24 hours, we know this is going to get a candle close. So if it managed to do the same thing, most likely we'll see the price bouncing off. This time, maybe we're going to get a breakout here, and the price action is going to continue to the upside. Now, that's not certain. It's me speculating. That's not the chart saying. The chart is saying it can go up, maybe till 0.6. But we'll have to see if there is enough volume pushing it to the upside to see if the breakout is having a higher odds on its favor. Now, you literally have to come back into the Bitcoin side to see, okay, what does that short-term pattern show me? Even though the short-term pattern is showing you the fact that there is a double top formation coming in, you should be cautious here. You have a trend line, which is a neckline of 47,000. So if the price come back down to this range and then bounce off, that can be a fake signal. That can just be another reaccumulation phase while you're going up. But what's the healthiest way to think about this? Those people who thought it's going to go down from 38 and jumped out, most likely they're not in here. They're like, okay, we're going to break down from here. And that didn't happen. Fine, the price went up. So now these guys are like, maybe I'm wrong. Let me buy it back. So if that's the case, those laggards are actually jumping into the market. Then what the market will usually do is like, you're in, let me kick you out. And then it goes back up. So you do have a possibility that the market makers would use them as a liquidity tool to push the price back down. How low can they push, right? I think the supply, if they decide to push it to the downside, would come more close to this range where new buyers versus sellers would be fighting. That's 45,600. That's going to be an attractive range for any new buyer who's looking at this, they will be like, okay, it went above 48. Right now it's at 45. I missed the bottom. Let me not try to time it. Let me enter. Because when you actually go into any of these charts, whether it's a daily, weekly, monthly, you have one thing in common, which is like, okay, you're looking at what the moving average is doing. If the moving average is turning after a long time, it kind of shows you the direction. It kind of shows you which direction the price really want to go. So each time you get to see this, the price is making a local top there. Whether you have another burst before you correct down or you're slowly going to correct back down, it's different. But you get to see this. There is one small corrective action while this happens on the moving average. So right now you have the moving average, which is slowly turning back to the upside, and the price to the moving average is right now showing you a difference of 12-13%. So at the recent peak, now that's a little bit different. It was news led. You were close to 12.39. Before that, when you made the local top, it was like 17%. So you kind of get to see like, okay, last time it was here 17, then it was 27, 25. You have different numbers for sure. But the similar scenario which we discussed before shows you at 26% to the upside. What does that mean? If you plot that, it takes you all the way up close to like $54,000. Now you are trading at 47. So this is one of the primary reasons why I was arguing the point that when the price is upside 47,000, that shows huge amount of buying power. So if they are not able to break below 46,700, the bottom of this wick, it's concerning for bears because there can be a bounce which can just be a blow off. For this microwave structure, it can just be a blow through, kicking all of them out and then coming back down. We don't know. But if that's the case, then you're going to see the weekly confirming that there is a negative divergence. If you get to see the price is getting rejected at 55, 60,000, wherever. But when you discuss through all these short-term scenarios, come back to this. When you see RSI entering back into the overbought territory, say here it was like, 28 days, 29 days, something where the price went up 100%. So give that time, maybe you're going to do 50%, maybe you're literally going to do 25%, who knows? But all of that is actually suggesting you the possibility that the price action can still do something. Now, as an altcoin investor, XRP investor, I would like to see this topping off here, showing you the negative divergence, money moving out of this, money entering into the altcoins, and we making money. That's the interesting part. But for some reason, the market has its own process. We'll have to follow that. So guys, if you received value, smash that like button. And if you want to get in to the SI family to get all these calls at the right time, look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.